The lights dimmed in the United Nations War Room as General Jack Miller walked to the front of the massive circular chamber. The room buzzed with nervous energy. Military officers from every nation sat at their designated stations, their faces tight with worry. Diplomats whispered in corners, their usual calm shattered by the events of the past hour. "Ladies and gentlemen," General Miller's deep voice cut through the chatter. "The transmission will begin in 30 seconds. Dr. Lisa." Park adjusted her glasses and checked her tablet one more time. Her fingers flew across the holographic keyboard, recording data streams from every monitoring station on Earth. She had been awake for 48 hours straight since the alien fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system. Her team of scientists worked frantically behind her, analyzing every piece of information they could gather about the unexpected visitors. Admiral Sam Rodriguez stood near the tactical display, his weathered hands gripping the edge of the holographic table. The three-dimensional map showed Earth surrounded by hundreds of red dots, each one representing an alien warship. His naval experience told him everything he needed to know about their formation. They had Earth completely surrounded. President Maria Sanchez entered the room flanked by her security detail. She had aged 10 years in the last 2 days. The weight of humanity's future rested on her shoulders, and everyone in the room could see it in her tired eyes. She took her seat at the head of the council table, nodding to the other world leaders present via holographic projection. The countdown reached 0. The massive screen at the front of the room flickered to life, revealing a sight that made everyone hold their breath. Ambassador Zorak of the Galactic Council filled the screen. His body was unlike anything from Earth. Crystalline structures formed his face, reflecting light in rainbow patterns. Where humans had eyes, he had clusters of glowing orbs that pulsed with an inner light. His voice, when it came, sounded like wind chimes mixed with thunder. "People of Earth," the aliens. Words were translated by their advanced technology into perfect English. "I am Ambassador Zorak, speaking on behalf of the Galactic Council. We have observed your species for many cycles. We have judged you, and we have found you inadequate." General Miller's jaw tightened, but he remained silent. Around the room, similar reactions rippled through the gathered humans. "Your species is violent," Zorak continued. "You wage war upon yourselves. You pollute your planet. You have barely managed to reach your own moon, while we command the stars themselves. The Galactic Council has decided that Earth must be brought into proper order." Dr. Park looked up from her calculations, catching Miller's eye. She mouthed the words, "Energy readings are off the charts," and pointed to her screen. The general nodded slightly. Therefore, the alien ambassador's tone grew harder. "We deliver this ultimatum. You have 24 of your solar cycles to surrender, unconditionally. Lay down your primitive weapons. Disband your fractured governments. Submit to the wisdom of the Galactic Council." The image zoomed out, revealing the full horror of their situation. Behind Zorak stretched a vast command center filled with aliens of different species, all working at strange consoles. Through the viewports behind them, Earth's blue marble hung in space, surrounded by the alien fleet. "Should you refuse," Zorak's clusters of eyes seemed to focus directly on each human watching, "we will have no choice but to use force. Your nuclear weapons are toys to us. Your armies are insects before our might. However, we are not without mercy. Submit now, and your species will be relocated to serve the greater galactic community. You will find purpose in service to those greater than yourselves." President Sanchez leaned forward. "And if we need more time to consider?" The alien's crystalline features shifted in what might have been surprise. "You speak directly to me, Earth Leader?" "I do," Sanchez replied firmly. "I am President Maria Sanchez, elected representative of the United States and current rotating head of the United Nations Security Council. We request more time to discuss your proposal." "Time?" Zorak's voice carried amusement. "What use is time to primitives? You have 24 cycles, no more. We have conquered 1,000 worlds, President Sanchez. Some fought, all fell. Make your choice wisely." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the war room in darkness for a moment before the lights returned to normal. For several seconds, no one spoke. Then the room exploded into activity. "General!" a young captain called out. "We're tracking massive energy signatures from their dreadnoughts. They're positioning at all major Lagrange points." "How many ships, total?" Rodriguez demanded, already running calculations in his head. 300 capital ships, sir. Approximately 10,000 support vessels. They've got us completely boxed in." Dr. Park stood up suddenly. "General Miller, Mr. President, I need to speak with you immediately. In private." Miller nodded. "Clear the room. Security Council members only." As the room emptied, leaving only the top military and civilian leadership, Dr. Park activated a secure holographic display. Her excitement was barely contained. "They're making a huge mistake," she began. "They assume we're primitive. They think we're still using chemical rockets and nuclear weapons. Aren't we?" the Russian representative asked. Dr. Park smiled for the first time in days. "That's what we wanted everyone to think. For the past 3 years, ever since first contact, we've been preparing. Project Hammer is fully operational." Miller felt his pulse quicken. "The quantum torpedoes?" "Not just torpedoes," Park's eyes gleamed. "We've weaponized space-time itself. While they've been watching our public space program struggle to return to the moon, we've built something in secret that would make their technology look like stone tools." President Sanchez processed this information. "How sure are you?" "Their shields operate on principles we've already surpassed. Their weapons use energy frequencies we can counter. They think they're dealing with a pre-space civilization. They have no idea what we've achieved in the black sites." Admiral Rodriguez pulled up a classified tactical display. "The Hidden Fleet?" "Ready and waiting," Park confirmed. 144 ships built in underground facilities. Each one carries weapons that could crack a moon in half. The president stood up, her decision made. "Then we play their game. We have 24 hours to appear weak, frightened, and disorganized. Let them think we're exactly what they expect." General Miller smiled grimly. "And then?" "Then," Sanchez's voice carried steel, "we show them why humans have survived everything the universe has thrown at us. We show them what happens when they threaten our home." As the leadership filed out to begin preparations, no one noticed the slight smile on Dr. Park's face. 3 years of secret preparation were about to pay off. The Galactic Council had no idea what they had awakened. The black helicopter flew low over the Colorado mountains, its rotors beating steadily against the cold morning air. Inside, Ambassador Zorak sat uncomfortably in a seat designed for humans, his crystalline body reflecting the cabin lights. Colonel Tom Baker sat across from him, his face showing no emotion. "Your planet is quite beautiful," Zorak said, his translator making his voice sound almost friendly. "It will serve the Galactic Council well once properly managed." Baker nodded, politely. "We're proud of Earth, that's why we take care of it." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Take care of it? Your oceans are polluted. Your air is filled with chemicals. You fight wars over resources. The Council will fix all of this." "I'm sure you will," Baker replied, checking his watch. They were right on schedule. The helicopter began its descent toward what looked like an old military base built into the mountainside. Rusty chain-link fences surrounded weathered concrete buildings. A faded sign read, "Mining Operation. Keep out." Zorak studied the facility with his multiple eyes. "This is your defensive command? It appears primitive." "Appearances can be deceiving," Baker said as they landed. They walked across the cracked tarmac toward a small building. 2 guards in worn uniforms stood at the entrance, their weapons looking like standard Earth rifles. Zorak's confidence grew with each step. Everything he saw confirmed the Council's assessment. Earth was decades away from being a real threat. Inside, they entered an old elevator. Baker pressed his palm against a hidden scanner, and the doors closed. Instead of going up, the elevator began to descend. It kept going down, and down, and down. "Interesting," Zorak commented. "You've built deeper than we detected." "Like I said," Baker smiled slightly, "appearances can be deceiving." After 5 minutes of descent, the elevator stopped. The doors opened onto a sight that made Zorak freeze in place. Before them stretched a cavern so vast its far walls disappeared into shadow. But it wasn't the size that shocked the alien ambassador. It was what filled it. Row after row of sleek, black spacecraft lined the cavern floor. Each ship was a work of deadly art, their hulls seeming to absorb light rather than reflect it. "Welcome to Facility 7, Baker said casually. "One of 12 such bases around the world." Zorak's translator made a strangled sound. This is impossible. "We scanned your planet thoroughly. We found no advanced construction, no exotic materials, no powerful energy sources." "You found exactly what we wanted you to find," a woman's voice interrupted. Dr. Katie Wong. Approached them, her white lab coat stark against the military gray surroundings. She carried a tablet that displayed holographic schematics. "3 years ago, when your scouts first visited Earth, we learned something important," she explained. "Your scanning technology looks for specific energy signatures, so we developed shielding that hides those signatures. To your sensors, this entire facility doesn't exist." Baker led them to the nearest ship. Up close, it was even more impressive. The hull seemed to ripple like liquid, and strange symbols glowed faintly along its edges. "This is the Reaper-class destroyer," Baker said proudly. "Crew of 50, armed with quantum torpedoes, graviton cannons, and something we call a reality. Anchor. It prevents enemy ships from using faster-than-light escape." "But your public technology," Zorak's voice wavered, "is about 50 years behind what we've actually achieved," Dr. Wong finished. "Your council made a classic mistake. You judged us by what we showed you, not by what we could do." Meanwhile, hundreds of miles above Earth, Captain Amy Johnson stood on the bridge of humanity's flagship, the USS Vengeance. The massive warship hung in geosynchronous orbit, hidden from alien sensors by the same technology that concealed the underground bases. "Status report," she ordered. Lieutenant Dan Smith looked up from his console. "All systems green, Captain. The fleet is in position. 18 battle groups, each with 7 Reapers and support craft. We're ready." Johnson nodded and walked to the main view screen. Through the advanced display, she could see the Galactic Council fleet arranged in what they thought was an unbeatable formation. The alien ships were huge, some nearly 5 kilometers long. But size wasn't everything. "They still don't know we're here?" she asked. "No, ma'am. Their sensors show empty space. As far as they know, we only have the International Space Station and a few satellites up here." Back in the underground facility, Zorak followed Baker deeper into the complex. Each section revealed new impossibilities. Manufacturing bays where robots assembled weapons that defied physics. Training centers where human pilots flew simulations against every known alien threat. Research labs where scientists worked on technologies the Council thought were centuries away from human understanding. "How?" Zorak finally asked. "How did you advance so quickly?" Dr. Wong smiled. "Humans have something unique. We call it stubborn determination. Tell us something is impossible, and we'll work twice as hard to prove you wrong. Your first scouts told us we were primitives who could never threaten the mighty Galactic Council, so we decided to prove them wrong." They entered a command center, where massive screens showed real-time data from across the solar system, hidden weapons platforms in the asteroid belt, stealth ships patrolling near Jupiter, quantum mines seeded along all approach routes to Earth. General Miller was there, coordinating with commanders worldwide. He looked up as they entered. "Ambassador Zorak," he said formally. "I hope you're enjoying the tour." "This changes nothing," Zorak tried to sound confident. "The Council fleet still outnumbers you. Our technology has been refined over millennia." "Maybe," Miller acknowledged. "But there's something you should understand about humans. We've been fighting wars since we climbed down from the trees. We've turned conflict into an art form. And in the last 3 years, we've combined that experience with technology that would impress even your council." On one screen, a countdown timer showed 18:34:22 remaining. Less than 19 hours until the United Council's deadline. "What happens when that reaches 0? Zorak asked. Miller's expression hardened. You'll withdraw your fleet and leave Earth alone, or you'll learn why humans have survived every challenge our planet has thrown at us. Your choice. As Zorak stared at the displays showing Earth's hidden power, a cold realization crept through his crystalline form. The Galactic Council had made a terrible mistake. They had threatened a species that had spent its entire history preparing for war, and, now that species had the technology to take that war to the stars. The countdown continued. The galaxy would never be the same. The countdown reached 0 at exactly 14 GMT. Across Earth, billions of people held their breath. In homes, offices, and shelters, families huddled together, watching news broadcasts that showed only empty skies. They didn't know about the hidden fleet. They didn't know about Project Hammer. They only knew that aliens had demanded their surrender, and the deadline had arrived. In space, Fleetmaster Vortex sat in his command throne aboard the Galactic Council, dreadnought Inevitable Victory. His 6 arms moved across control panels as he prepared to give the order that would bring Earth to its knees. No response from the humans, his communications officer reported. They have chosen defiance. Predictable, Vortex said, his mandibles clicking with satisfaction. These primitives always choose to fight. Begin the attack. Target their major cities first. Show them the price of resistance. But something strange happened. As Vortex tried to send the attack order, his communication systems died. Every screen went dark. Every connection to the other ships cut off. What's happening? He demanded. Unknown, Fleetmaster, his technical officer replied, panic creeping into his voice. All quantum communications are down. Something is interfering with space-time itself. On the bridge of the USS Vengeance, Captain Amy Johnson smiled grimly. Phase 1 complete. Quantum disruption field is active. They can't talk to each other anymore. Phase 2 ready, Captain, Lieutenant Dan Smith reported. All hidden platforms are online. Execute, Johnson ordered. Across the solar system, humanity's trap sprang shut. Hidden weapon platforms built into asteroids and disguised as space debris powered up. Quantum mines that had been drifting harmlessly for months suddenly activated. The alien fleet found itself surrounded by threats they hadn't detected. Admiral Kim Lee coordinated the assault from Lunar Command, a facility built deep beneath the moon's surface. All units, this is Lunar Command. Operation Sandstorm is go. I repeat, Sandstorm is go. The Reapers struck first. Humanity's black ships dropped, their stealth systems, and appeared as if from nowhere. The aliens had seconds to react before the first quantum torpedoes hit. The Council ship Eternal Supremacy took the first hit. The quantum torpedo didn't explode in any conventional sense. Instead, it created a bubble of twisted space-time around the ship's shield generators. The shields didn't fail. They simply ceased to exist in the same reality as the ship they were meant to protect. Captain Johnson's voice broadcast across all frequencies. Attention, Galactic Council forces. You came to our world uninvited. You threatened our children. You demanded our slavery. Now you'll learn why humans are the apex predators of Earth. The battle became chaos. Council ships used to fighting enemies who followed predictable patterns found themselves facing an opponent who broke every rule. Human fighters, tiny compared to the alien vessels, used hit-and-run tactics that their enemies couldn't counter. Lieutenant Commander Alex Turner led Squadron 7 in an attack run against a Council battlecruiser. His fighter was dwarfed by the alien ship, like a mosquito attacking an elephant. But his graviton weapons packed a punch far beyond their size. 7375, form up on my wing, Turner ordered. We're going for their main reactor. The 3 fighters dove toward the battlecruiser's hull, weaving between defensive fire. Council gunners trained to hit larger targets couldn't track the agile human craft. Graviton missiles away, Turner announced. The missiles hit home. Instead of exploding, they created intense gravitational fields that tore the battlecruiser's hull apart from the inside. The massive ship crumpled like a tin can being crushed by an invisible hand. On Earth, General Miller watched the battle unfold from the command center. Activate ground defenses, he ordered. Some of them are trying to break through. Across the planet, hidden installations revealed themselves. The Zeus Array, a network of directed energy weapons hidden in everything from office buildings to fake mountains, came online. Council dropships entering Earth's atmosphere found themselves facing streams of superheated plasma that cut through their hulls like blowtorches through butter. "Sir, we're picking up a transmission from their flagship," a communications officer reported. "Put it through," Miller ordered. Vortex image appeared, his confident demeanor replaced by something approaching fear. "This is impossible. Your technology level doesn't permit such weapons. The Council's intelligence said you were primitives." "Your intelligence was wrong," Miller replied calmly. "Surrender now, and we'll treat your crews fairly." "Never. The Galactic Council does not surrender to lesser species," Miller shrugged. "Your choice." In space, the battle turned into a slaughter. Human ships, smaller and more agile, danced around their larger opponents. Every Council tactic was countered. Every weapon was neutralized. The aliens' numerical advantage meant nothing when their ships couldn't hit targets that moved in ways that defied their understanding of physics. Captain Steve Adams led his Marines in boarding actions against disabled Council ships. In zero gravity, humans adapted quickly, while many alien species struggled. The Marines used magnetic boots and grappling systems to move through the ship's corridors with deadly efficiency. "Bridge secured," Adams reported as his team took control of another dreadnought. "That's 3 capital ships captured intact." The Vengeance moved through the battle like a shark through water. Its reality anchor weapons prevented enemy ships from escaping into hyperspace. Those that tried found themselves trapped, their FTL drives refusing to function. "Captain," Smith called out. "Their flagship is trying to retreat." Johnson stood from her command chair. "Target their engines. I want Vortek alive to report back to his council." A single quantum torpedo lanced out from the Vengeance. It hit the inevitable Victory's engine section with surgical precision. The massive dreadnought went dead in space, its power systems failing one by one. 12 hours after the battle began, it was over. The mighty Galactic Council invasion fleet was reduced to drifting wreckage and captured vessels. Of the original 300 capital ships, fewer than 20 escaped. The support vessels fared even worse. On Earth, people emerged from shelters to find their skies clear. The alien threat that had loomed over them was gone. News broadcasts showed footage of the battle, humanity's hidden fleet standing victorious against a foe that had conquered 1,000 worlds. President Sanchez addressed the planet from the United Nations. "My fellow humans, today we faced our greatest challenge. An alien force came to enslave us. They thought us weak. They thought us primitive. They were wrong." Behind her, screens showed captured Council technology being studied by human scientists. "We are now in possession of their ships, their weapons, and their databases. The galaxy has learned an important lesson. Earth is not for conquest. Earth is our home, and we will defend it with everything we have." As repair crews worked to secure captured vessels and rescue survivors, one truth became clear. Humanity had announced its arrival on the galactic stage in the most emphatic way possible. The predators had become the prey. The Galactic Council chamber stood silent for the first time in 1,000 years. The massive hall, built to hold representatives from 900 species, felt empty, despite being full. Every delegate stared at the holographic display in the center, unable to believe what they were seeing. Supreme Counselor Thexar rose from his seat, his ancient body trembling. The insectoid leader had ruled the Council for 3 centuries. In all that time, he had never seen a Council fleet defeated. "Play it again," he commanded, his voice barely a whisper. The recording started once more. Council ships, pride of the galaxy's most powerful alliance, being torn apart by smaller human vessels. The mighty dreadnoughts crumpling under weapons that shouldn't exist. The invasion fleet scattered and burning. "How?" Thexar finally asked, turning to his intelligence. "Chief, how did this happen?" Quarren, head of Council Intelligence, stepped forward. His scales had turned pale with fear. "Supreme Counselor, we followed standard procedures. We observed Earth for 3 years. We analyzed their technology, their military. capabilities, their industrial base. Everything indicated a pre-singularity civilization. Then explain this. Thexar pointed at the display showing human ships using faster-than-light weapons. Quarren pulled up archived data. Here, Supreme Counselor, our scans of Earth, we detected primitive nuclear reactors, chemical rockets, basic quantum research, facilities that appeared to be purely theoretical. Their media showed them struggling with simple fusion power. And this? Thexar switched to an image of a captured human ship. Their technology surpasses some of our own. We were deceived, Quarren admitted. The humans created an elaborate illusion. They wanted us to underestimate them. And we did exactly what they expected. On Earth, the reality of victory was sinking in. In a secure facility beneath Geneva, world leaders gathered around a conference table. President Sanchez led the meeting, but every major nation was represented. Ladies and gentlemen, she began, we've won the battle, but the war for our future has just begun. General Miller activated a holographic display. From the captured databases, we've learned the truth about the Galactic Council. They control nearly 40% of our galaxy. 900 member species, but only about 50 have any real power. The rest are either conquered or coerced into membership. Dr. Park added her analysis. Their technology is impressive, but stagnant. They haven't had a real innovation in centuries. Everything they have is built on stolen or inherited knowledge. We've caught up to them in 3 years. Give us 3 more, and we'll surpass them completely. What about retaliation? The Chinese representative asked. Surely they won't accept this defeat. Admiral Rodriguez leaned forward. According to the captured data, it will take them at least 6 months to assemble another fleet this size. By then we'll be ready. Meanwhile, in orbit around Earth, Captain Amy Johnson supervised the interrogation of captured council officers. In the Vengeance's secure holding facility, Fleetmaster Vortek sat in a cell designed specifically for his physiology. You have to understand, Vortek said, his earlier arrogance gone. The Council doesn't tolerate defiance. They will return with 10 times the force. Johnson studied the alien commander. Let them come, we'll be ready. You don't understand, Vortek insisted. The Council has weapons you haven't seen. Planet killers, star destroyers. They'll burn your entire system rather than accept defeat. Then we'd better make sure they never get the chance, Johnson replied. Back on Earth, humanity's secret was fully revealed. The underground bases opened their doors. The hidden fleets emerged from stealth. Scientists who had worked in shadow for 3 years finally got recognition for their achievements. Dr. Katie Wong stood before a gathering of the world's top scientists. The captured council technology is incredible, but it's also limited. They rely heavily on automation and artificial intelligence. Their crews are small, their tactics rigid. They win through overwhelming force, not innovation. She activated a display showing human improvements to alien tech. We've already enhanced their shield systems by 30%. Their weapons can be made 40% more efficient. Their FTL drives waste enormous amounts of energy. We can fix that. How? Long until we can build our own version, someone asked. We already are. Wong smiled. Every captured ship is being reverse engineered. Every system is being improved. In 6 months, we'll have a fleet that makes today's ships look primitive. Around the world, recruitment centers opened for Earth's new Space Force. Millions volunteered. Humanity had always dreamed of the stars. Now they had the means to reach them. In the Council's prison ship, something unexpected happened. Alien prisoners of war, expecting harsh treatment, instead found themselves in comfortable quarters with proper food and medical care. Many were soldiers from conquered worlds forced to serve the Council. Captain Steve Adams visited one such group. You fought because you had to, he told them. We understand that. Earth offers you a choice. Help us free your worlds or return home when this is over. No slavery, no forced service. The response amazed everyone. Thousands of alien soldiers volunteered to fight alongside humans. They shared intelligence, taught human crews about Council, tactics, and revealed weaknesses in their former master systems. A month after the battle, Earth launched its first diplomatic mission to non-Council worlds. Ambassador Lisa Chen, a career diplomat fluent in 12 languages, led the expedition aboard the captured and refitted Council dreadnought, now renamed Liberation. "Our message is simple," she told her team. "Earth stands for freedom. Any species that wants to break free from Council control will find an ally in humanity." The response was overwhelming. Encrypted messages flooded in from dozens of worlds. Species that had suffered under Council rule for centuries saw hope for the first time. Back in the Council chambers, Thexar faced a room full of angry delegates. "You told us Earth was primitive," the Vorlon ambassador accused. "You said this would be a simple acquisition. The intelligence was flawed," Thexar admitted. "But we can still..." "Still what?" the Kelvin representative interrupted. "They defeated our best fleet. They've captured our technology. They're making alliances with non-Council worlds. The balance of power is shifting." For the first time in its history, the Galactic Council faced something it had never prepared for. A species that not only refused to submit, but had the power to challenge their dominance. On Earth, President Sanchez met with her advisors one last time before the historic announcement. "Are we ready for this?" she asked. General Miller nodded. "The fleet is ready, the alliances are forming, the technology is proven." Dr. Park added, "We've gone from prey to predator in one battle. The galaxy will never see humanity the same way again." Sanchez stood and walked to the window, looking up at the stars. "Then let's show them what humans can really do." The age of Council dominance was ending. The age of human expansion had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. Ambassador Zorak stood in chains before the United Nations General Assembly. 3 months had passed since the battle that changed everything. The once proud Council ambassador now looked small and defeated, his crystalline form dim and cracked. President Maria Sanchez took the podium, her voice carrying across the silent chamber. Behind her, massive screens showed images from across the galaxy. Freed worlds celebrating, Council forces retreating, human ships delivering aid to species that had suffered for centuries. "Ambassador Zorak," she began, "you came to Earth with threats and demands. You offered us slavery disguised as membership. You promised destruction if we refused." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Today, you stand here as our prisoner, but also as our messenger." The assembly stirred. Representatives from every nation leaned forward, knowing history was being made. "We're sending you back to the Galactic Council," Sanchez continued. "You will carry Earth's message to your masters. Tell them this: the age of conquest is over. The age of freedom has begun." Zorak finally spoke, his translator crackling. "The Council will never accept this. They will send everything they have against you." "Let them try," Sanchez replied. "We're ready." In space, Earth's new fleet patrolled the solar system. The original hidden ships had been joined by captured Council vessels, all upgraded with human improvements. Captain Amy Johnson now commanded not just the Vengeance, but an entire battle group. "Status report," she ordered from her admirals. "Chair." "All quiet, Admiral," Lieutenant Dan Smith reported. He too had been promoted after the battle. "Long-range sensors show normal traffic in nearby systems. No Council military movements." Johnson nodded. The quiet worried her more than action. Would've. The Council was planning something. Deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, in humanity's most secret research facility, Dr. Lisa Park and Dr. Katie Wong worked on their masterpiece. The captured Council databases had revealed the location of ancient technology caches, weapons and tools left behind by civilizations that had risen and fallen before the Council existed. "This is incredible," Wong whispered, studying a device that looked like a small crystal cube. "It's a reality anchor, but miniaturized. If we can replicate this, we can protect entire planets from dimensional weapons," Park finished. "The Council's most feared weapons will be useless." General Jack Miller entered the lab, his expression serious. "We've had contact from the Resistance." Both scientists looked up. The Resistance was a legend, a secret network of species that had fought the Council's rule for millennia. "They want to meet," Miller continued. "They say they have information, we need, and weapons we can't imagine. A week later, on a moon orbiting a gas giant in neutral space, the meeting took place. Captain Steve Adams led the human delegation. Across the table sat beings from a dozen species, all scarred by centuries of conflict with the Council. "You did what we thought impossible," the Resistance leader said. He was a Krell, a reptilian species that had fought the Council for 500 years. "You beat them in open battle, but that was just the beginning." "We know," Adams replied. "They'll come back stronger." "No," the Krell shook his head. "You don't understand. The Council you fought? That was their third-tier fleet. Old ships, expendable crews. Their real power lies in the core worlds." Silence fell over the human delegation. "But," the Krell continued, "you've given us something we never had before. Hope. And now, we offer you our alliance. Our knowledge. Our weapons. Together, we can end their rule forever." Back on Earth, the transformation continued. Cities that once looked to the sky in fear now launched ships daily. Orbital shipyards worked around the clock, building vessels that pushed the boundaries of physics. In schools, children learned alien languages alongside traditional subjects. In laboratories, scientists from 100 worlds worked together, sharing knowledge suppressed by the Council for millennia. President Sanchez met with her cabinet for their daily briefing. The news was both encouraging and sobering. 47. "Worlds have declared independence from the Council," reported the Secretary of State. "Our diplomatic corps is overwhelmed with requests for assistance." "Military status?" Sanchez asked. General Miller pulled up a holographic display. "We've built 93 new ships in 3 months. The Resistance has provided weapons that multiply our firepower by a factor of 10, but intelligence suggests the Council is mobilizing their core fleet." "How long do we have?" 6 months, maybe less." Sanchez stood and walked to the window. Below, she could see crowds gathering for another celebration. Humanity had tasted freedom among the stars and wasn't going back. "Then we use that time wisely," she decided. "Continue building, continue making alliances, and prepare for the real war." In the Council's capital world, Supreme Counselor Thexar faced the unthinkable. The Grand Assembly had voted to remove him from power. The first time in Council history, a Supreme Counselor had been deposed. "You have failed," the new Counselor declared. "Your arrogance awakened a sleeping giant. Now we must deal with the consequences." "What will you do?" Thexar asked. "What we should have done from the beginning. We'll offer Earth a real place in the Council. Equal status, shared technology, a voice in decisions. They'll never accept, not after what we tried to do. Then we'll face something the Council has avoided for 1,000 years, a war we might lose." 6 months later, as Earth's combined fleet prepared for the inevitable confrontation, a message arrived that shocked everyone. The Council offered complete capitulation, independence for all conquered worlds, shared technology, reparations for damages, and a new galactic government where all species had equal voice. President Sanchez read the message to the assembled leaders of the new alliance of free worlds. "What do you think?" she asked. The Krell ambassador spoke first. "It's everything we fought for. But can we trust them?" Captain Johnson, now Fleet Admiral of the Combined Forces, offered her view. "We beat them once with hidden strength. Now our strength is visible. They know they can't win." "Then we accept," Sanchez decided. "But we stay ready. Trust but verify." The ceremony took place on neutral ground, a space station built jointly by all species. As humanity took its place as a founding member of the new Galactic Federation, the message was clear to all who watched. Earth had not just defended itself, it had changed the galaxy forever. The predators had become protectors, the hunted had become hunters, and in doing so, humanity had proven a simple truth. Those who threaten Earth's children face not just defeat but transformation. The stars now belong to all species equally. And at the center of it all stood humanity, no longer hidden, no longer alone, but finally taking their place among the stars. The age of empires was over. The age of freedom had begun, and humans would make sure it stayed that way.